Hello to all my Fox Hollow fam, and welcome to Baking with Fox Hollow Kitchen. I'm Dave, and today we're making a special recipe that I've wanted to try for a long time. Today we're making cannoli, little Italian pastries filled with sweetened ricotta cheese in a crispy shell. This recipe is a little more challenging, but don't worry, I'm going to guide you through it step by step. In the end, we'll have an incredible dessert that's sure to impress. So if you're ready to
leave the gun, take the cannoli,
then let's have some fun. Okay, we're going to start our dough. What we need first is 2 cups of flour in our trusty food processor here. Then 1 tablespoon of sugar and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of butter cut up into little pieces and put in here. And we are going to pulse this until it's completely mixed. And there we go. Now that our butter's all chopped up, we're going to put this in another bowl. With 1 egg yolk and 1/2 cup of dry white wine. I'm using Sauvignon Blanc, but you can use Chardonnay, whatever you have. And just mix this together until we get a dough. I may have to add more wine, that's okay. Just to get it to stick together. Whatever it takes. Alright, now that I have a nice dough that's sticking together pretty good, I'm going to wrap this in plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator for a while we make our filling. The first thing we need to do for our filling is dry out some ricotta cheese. We're going to take 4 cups of ricotta cheese, and I'm only going to work with 2 cups at a time to make it easier on ourselves. What I've done here is I have about 4 or 5 layers of paper towels laid out, and I'm going to smear some ricotta cheese over that, about 2 cups worth, just to get us started here. Once I've got that nice and spread out, I'm going to put another 4 or 5 layers of paper towels on top. And then I'm going to press this down and just keep pressing for a little bit. I'm going to squeeze as much moisture out of these as I can, very gently. If we don't do this, we'll end up with ricotta cheese soup instead of a nice fluffy filling. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this up, just as a last step. And just squeeze a little bit of moisture out of it, as much as I can get it to come out. And then we're going to unroll this again. Very carefully lift off the paper towel. And then I'm going to very gently scrape this into our bowl and then do the same with the other 2 cups. We're going to set our cheese aside for a moment, and we're going to take 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream. And I'm just going to whip it up with a handheld mixer and a whisk attachment real quick here. Once our whipped cream is nice and stiff here, we're going to set that aside for just a few moments while we go back to our cheese. To our ricotta cheese, we're going to add 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. And just stir this in here really good. Now that that's in there, we're going to gently fold in our whipped cream from earlier. Just very gently here. When that's sort of mixed in, we're going to add 1/2 cup of chocolate chips, mini chocolate chips that is, and fold those in as well, along with a little bit of zest of lemon. Just for a little extra brightness. And that is our filling. We're going to set that aside in the fridge while we make our shells. And now for our dough. I'm going to take our dough out of the refrigerator. I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces because it'll just be easier to work with that way. Write it down like this. Doesn't matter. And we're just going to work with 1 piece at a time. Throw down some flour here. And make a nice dough ball. And then we're going to roll it out to where it's like a 1/16 to an 1/8 of an inch thick. 1/16 to an 1/8 of an inch thick. Takes a little patience to get that thickness, but it'll do it. Once we got our dough rolled out, we're going to cut 4-inch circles out of it, as many as we can get out of the dough. And just grab these and set them aside. And re-roll out the dough as much as you can. Okay, next I have some cannoli tubes, and I'm going to take one of these wraps, stick the tube in the middle, wrap it halfway, and then I have some egg standing by. Here's a little beaten egg. I'm going to brush the end here with the egg, and then brush this end with the egg, and pop them together, just to seal them. And they seal up really nice. And then I'm just going to set this aside. I'm going to do this with all of them. Okay, we're ready to fry our cannoli. I'm going to take a shell with my tongs and dunk it into some fryer oil at 360 degrees. We're only going to do about 4 or 5 of these at a time. And there we go. We're going to let those fry for about 2 to 3 minutes until they're golden brown. They don't really float to the top so much unless they're pretty fluffy. When they're golden brown like this, we're going to take them out and set them on paper towels to cool and to drain. And start the next batch. Once these are out, to get them off the tubes, all we do is hold them with a nice washcloth like this and take your tongs and pull the tube right out. They usually come straight out without any problem. So once our shells have cooled down a little bit, it's time to fill them. I'm going to take our filling and I'm going to start from one end and squeeze it in. And I'm going to go to the other end and do the same thing. And that's it. We're going to set those aside and just do all of them that way. You don't want to fill these until they're ready to serve because they'll get soggy pretty quickly. Everybody wants it to be nice and crispy on the outside, so. And now for the best part, the taste test. That is delicious. Crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside. The chocolate is a nice touch. I hope you guys enjoy it. Wrapping up today, I want to thank you again for joining us and encourage you to check out our friends and support channels listed in the descriptions below. But before I go, I want to leave you with these words from Katharine Hepburn. If you always do what interests you, at least one person is pleased. Thanks again, and we'll see you all soon.
If you like this video or any of our other videos,
Be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons and stay tuned for future shows.